Peace. Yo, for those of y'all that may be on the outside of the Nation of Gods and Earths or whatever, here, let me show you the universal flag. The universal flag is our national emblem. You know what I'm saying? Just like any nation has a flag to represent, what they are. Here it is. And you notice that the flag has 8 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Those 8 points symbolizes the 8 fundamental training units or bodies of learning tools or lessons. That's the foundation of what this culture is about. And basically what that means is, like, 1 point, represents the supreme mathematics. The next point represents supreme alphabet. Then you have the 1 to 10s, which is student enrollment, which is basically 10 lessons. Then you have the 1 to 14s, which is lost found lesson number 1, which is 14 lessons. Then you have 1 to 36 lessons, and that's called the English C lesson. Then you have the lost found lesson number 2, and that's the 1 to 40. It's 40 lessons. Then after that you get actual facts, and then you have solar facts. So altogether you have 120 lessons. Now a lot of people that may not be members of the Nation of Gods and Earths, they may say, well, why do you have to learn 120 lessons? And there's even so-called gods and earths who claim to be a part of this who don't know their lessons for whatever reason. Maybe they just didn't find an enlightener. Maybe they just procrastinating. Maybe they think it's too hard to be able to memorize this information, or whatever their reason is. It's like they may also feel like, well, why do I need to know this information? The thing about it is, a lesson is a learning tool. A learning tool conveys knowledge or information to you so that later on, when confronted with that or a similar situation, you will be wiser in the way in which you make a decision based upon that circumstance or that situation. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, life itself. Like I said before, this universe is a giant problem book. You acknowledge me? So, just in life itself, you learn lessons. You know what I'm saying? You learn why you shouldn't be going up in something raw, you know what I'm saying, and not using a condom with some strange whiz that you picked up at the club. You learn, why you shouldn't lay down with this dude and have children with him, knowing that he didn't have a good relationship with his mother. You know what I'm saying? Or, his whole family was dysfunctional. You know what I'm saying? You learn, not to cheat on tests at school. You learn a lot of lessons. You know what I'm saying? You learn that you can't tell everybody, what you really feel in your heart of hearts. And it's like learning lessons evokes the principle of justice. Justice is the science of rewards or penalties based upon one's words, ways, and actions. You see? So, when you learn a lesson, you may be penalized, but when you're confronted with that or a similar lesson again, you may not get penalized because you've learned from it. So hopefully you'll be rewarded based upon the decision you make the next time. Or if you don't experience that again, that's information that you could pass on to somebody else so that they'll make the appropriate decision when they're confronted with that situation or that circumstance. So, like I said, life itself is comprised of learning tools and lessons, and what they do is, like I said, they give us more knowledge so that we could become wiser so that we can get a better understanding of ourselves and the world around us and our relationship to this world around us. You acknowledge me? So, even if a person doesn't get 120 lessons, you're still going to have lessons to learn. The difference is that we just have, nicely, neatly put in order 120 lessons. So what happens is, if we access these lessons properly, we hopefully minimize the penalties that we suffer or the unknowns that we confront in life, and that we can maximize the rewards that we receive from life because we know a lot better, because we have a lot more lessons right instantaneously at our fingertips. And that's the beauty of having this information, you know what I'm saying, and accessing that information, you know. And it's like, that's what this culture is basically, the foundation of what this culture is set upon, you know what I'm saying, learning and becoming a person that does better, where you're improving yourself every day. You're dealing with constant elevation, you know what I'm saying. That's not just a word, but that is a reality, you know what I'm saying. And like I said, you know, having this information and having access to it, you know, you put yourself in the potentiality to minimize the things that you go through. You know what I'm saying? You become a lot wiser. You know, it's like you know, some people, they need to go through things to learn, like why God made devil. But I know this lesson. You see what I'm saying? That lesson is right at my fingertips. Not saying that I have a complete understanding of it, but at least I know it to be able to get an understanding from it. If you don't know it, it's impossible to even get an understanding. So what happens is, you know, a person that has no knowledge of it, they're completely feeling around in the dark. You know what I'm saying? Now me, since I do know it, at least I'm in the dark feeling around with a flashlight. You know what I'm saying? Until I can find the light on the wall, the light switch on the wall. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like I said, there's a lot of so-called gods and nerfs who claim to be a part of this nation, but they don't know their lessons. And what happens is that puts them in a worse off position than a person that didn't even know anything about it, because now they have evoked universal forces to arrange circumstances based upon their word or what they claim. Because you look at and they may not know this, but you know, the wisdom cipher degree, it asks what is a prescribed law for the said person of that ability. When you say that you have this ability, when you come in this name and claim that, you automatically must adhere to the prescribed law. And if you don't live up to the law, the penalty is death, punishment, and that's enforced on everyone who falls a victim, because that is the emblem of justice, and that is no respecter of persons. So regardless of how cool you are as a person, you know, what you got, what kind of job you got, you know, how well your family's doing, or what you bought and whatever, if you say that you're this, the universe will create, because you are the universe. You automatically create circumstances to either build what you say, build or add on with what you're saying and support it, or destroy it if you ain't true and living it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can't come into this nation and say that you're about it if you don't know your lessons. And that's not, you know, a judgment call. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not bombing people and shit like that. I'm just telling you that, you know, basically you put yourself in a worse off position than a person that doesn't even know it. Why? Because since they don't know, they don't have to adhere to. Because they're not saying nothing about their so-called ability. You saying that you this and you that, and now you got to show and prove it. Not to me, not to anybody else. And if you are showing and proving it to me or anybody else, we just represent characters in your Quran. You see what I'm saying? Or emblems of that universal justice. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's important that if you are about this, to be about it. And if you're not, then shit'll get off the pot. You know what I'm saying? And it's like those of you who are not a part of this, you know, it's not saying that you're better off or you're less off or nothing like that. It's just that I'm just explaining to you that, you know, the importance of 120 lessons. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, we have a lot of lessons in our life that we've learned, way more than 120. You know what I'm saying? But to know 120, you become wise in that 120. That's 240. Then you get a better understanding of that 120, and that's 360. You see what I'm saying? And that's the cipher of the flag that we supposedly represent, you know what I'm saying, or our national emblem. And that's all I really wanted to build about, you know what I'm saying? If you're saying that you're about this, then be about it. Because you only making yourself, you only bringing forces against yourself if you're saying one thing and, you know, procrastinating about doing it. You know what I'm saying? That's not a good position to be in. Peace.